Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. World Sports Updates here. Back again with another video. As we sit here now, we got about 30 hours away from kickoff time. Chargers, Chiefs in the first Thursday night game of the 2022 season. Now, obviously, this has been a matchup that's been talked about for a while since they pretty much announced it at the draft. So this is a very anticipated matchup. A lot of people around the league are waiting for this, not just the fans of the two respective teams. So this is going to be a marquee matchup that a lot of people have been waiting for. So now to get to the game, let me get to some of the Charger injuries updates first. Now, obviously, Keenan Allen, the injury is not as serious as everybody thought it was. There was still some optimism, I guess, on his part that he might be able to play, but he has not participated in practice, and he's not going to play. So it's not really that big of a deal, I think, but he will not be suiting up for the Chargers. J.C. Jackson did participate in practice yesterday on a limited basis. The injury report has not been published as of yet, today, Wednesday, so if everything went well in the practice yesterday, I would assume that he was on the field in a limited basis today as well, too. So I think he actually might give it a go tomorrow, just depending on how he feels, probably on Thursday when he wakes up. He's going to go through the pregame stuff just like he did on Sunday. But I think that he will go. So that's pretty much the two major updates as far as the injury front is concerned for the Chargers. Now, before I really get into the game and some of the things that I think are going to happen, the Chiefs, the one thing that is not being talked about in mainstream sports media is the injuries that the Chiefs have. The Chiefs have significant injuries. They won going away against the Cardinals in week 1, but they paid for that win. They have a significant amount of injuries on their injury report. The big news as of yesterday afternoon, the first-round pick for the Chiefs, Trent McDuffie, the cornerback out of Washington, they put him on IR. So he's done for the season. Obviously, that is a big hit for the Chiefs. He was a guy that they were going to count on in the defensive backfield. He's gone now. Now, I posted on the community tab yesterday. It's a screenshot of the injury report that the Chiefs have going into game week 2 against the Chargers. There's a lot of names on there. There's 8 guys on there. Patrick Mahomes is on there as well too. I guess he had like a little minor hand injury against the Cardinals in week 1. He's obviously going to play. There is Trey Smith, the guard, and Orlando Brown, the tackle. Starting guard and starting tackle for the Chiefs are on the injury report. That is definitely big news. I expect both of those guys to play, but it is something, it's noteworthy that they are probably not going to be 100%, especially seeing what the Chargers did on the defensive line. So that is interesting. The kicker, Harrison Butker, I don't think that he is going to play. I think he has a pretty significant injury. I think it's a knee injury. They have Justin Reed, the safety. He does some kicking. He's not a NFL kicker, though. So that is kind of one of those things that it looks good on paper, but if it comes down to winning the game on a 50-yard field goal, that's going to be a guy who's not really going to be able to do that. So that's also something to take into consideration as well too. These injuries are not really being talked about. They're just painting this game as Mahomes versus Herbert, and they're just not really covering this. And obviously, for obvious reasons, they will cover this. If the Chiefs win, they will cover this, and they will give Patrick Mahomes credit for coming through with all these injuries. If he loses, this is obviously a setup for an excuse as to why he and the Chiefs lost. But, hey, it is what it is, right? That's how the media works. They have their darlings, and, they are going to protect them at all costs. That's why I have this channel. That's why I come on here and talk, and I tell the truth about everything. So that's what's going on there on the injury front. Now, to get to the game, the Chargers and the Chiefs, week 2, this is a big matchup for both teams. But I do think that the Chargers have some advantages. Again, they're not going to be talked about because they are going to spin the narrative to make Patrick Mahomes look great, every single day of the year. It doesn't matter. They're going to spin the narrative as much as they can to try to make Mahomes look look like that guy. But the Chargers do have some advantages, and that's what I want to get into. So, number one, the Chiefs, they put up 44 points on the Cardinals in week 1, and it was a good performance from them offensively, but again, it wasn't being talked about. If you go back and watch the game, I was able to catch some of the all-22 film. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched enough to see that the Cardinals really were in a IDGAF, right? They just didn't give a you-know-what. They blitzed Patrick Mahomes. They blitzed him like crazy, and there was a lot of receivers, tight ends, Travis Kelce, a lot of guys running wide open, running away from their man matchups, and they didn't really seem to get hands on any receivers at the line of scrimmage. They blitzed, and the Kansas City wide receivers ran away from DBs and they ran open. You guys can go back and watch the game. It was probably one of the more poor, defensive performances. I don't even want to call it like a defensive preparation. I don't know. It wasn't good going into that week with that game plan. You knew that you were going to get toasted. With that game plan, you're giving up 40 against the Chiefs, because that is what Patrick Mahomes, he's seen a lot of in his first 2 or 3 years, right? A lot of blitzing, a lot of one-on-ones with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and all of that stuff. And all he has to do is really run out, create some space and just deliver a ball. It doesn't even have to be the most catchable or the most accurate, but that's what defenses were doing to him, and that's what he was doing to torch them. It wasn't great defensive game planning on the Cardinals' part. So I need everybody to understand this. The Chargers are not going to do that. They're not going to make the same mistakes that the Arizona Cardinals made, and they made mistakes before they even took the field with that defensive game plan. I'm not sure who the Cardinals defensive coordinator is, but that was pretty egregious to me. I mean, you just don't do that. Like you just don't do that. The way to beat Patrick Mahomes is to make him play quarterback and to make him, basically kill you death by 1,000 cuts. That's the way to beat him. That is the blueprint that's been put out there, and the Chargers were the first ones to put that out there last year, right? Patrick Mahomes struggled mightily throughout most of the season last year, particularly in the middle of the season. The Chargers put the blueprint in, I believe it was in week 2 of last season. They put that blueprint in. Brandon Staley, Ronaldo Hill, the defensive coaching staff, they played just that two-man shell, and they made Patrick Mahomes, try to go down the field 12, 13 play drives and beat them, and he wasn't able to do it early in the season last year. So I expect the Chargers to actually do the same thing. And this is, if they come out in the two-man shell, just like they did last year, it's going to look a lot different because of the upgrades up front. Khalil Mack, you got Joey Bosa, right? You have guys up front who are going to collapse the pocket. You have guys up front who are going to bring some pressure. So now, coming out in that two-man shell, not only does Patrick Mahomes have to be accurate, not only does he have to step into his throws, not only does his mechanics have to be really on point, but now he has to deal with a lot of pressure coming from the defensive line, right? And the Chargers don't have to blitz anybody. They can just get pressure with 4. They did it a bunch against the Raiders, and with the offensive line injuries, even if these guys play, they're not going to be 100%, right? So it's going to be a task to really stay in front of the Chargers pass rush, just in front of the Chargers defensive line in general. It's going to be a task for the Chiefs to do that. Now, I think the Chargers obviously have to go in. They have to shut the run down. They have to be, a run-stopping team. They have to be, their orientation has to be stopping the run, and I think everything else is going to be created off of that. The one-on-ones with Khalil Mack, the one-on-ones with Joey Bosa, it's all going to come off of stopping the run. So if the Chargers stop the run successfully, I think it will really parlay into that two-man shell. You really don't have to blitz. You can, do some stuff up front, some stunts, maybe play some games with the offensive line. But I think the Chargers really should just come out with that same game plan from last year, because it will be upgraded with the talent. You look at the DBs, how well they played. J.C. Jackson, he's probably going to play as well too. So this game plan could be the exact same, but it could look so much better with all of the talent on defense. So I think the Chargers do have that advantage. And I'm still not convinced that Patrick Mahomes has figured out that two-man shell. He wants to do a lot of running around. He wants to do a lot of trickeration. He wants to do a lot of things that go down the field. So to really hone in and to make him play quarterback, to make him play a boring quarterback is what I like to call it. He doesn't like to play boring quarterback. He likes to go downfield, left-handed passes, all of that stuff you guys already know. To make Patrick Mahomes play boring quarterback, he doesn't want to do that. He gets bored with it, and he's undisciplined. And his undisciplined nature can really, really, really break him down. And we've seen what happened last season, AFC Championship game, the second half. He completely melted down because he was undisciplined. He wasn't stepping into his throws. His mechanics were all over the place. And that's just what he does. When he gets uncomfortable, he will throw you the ball. He will throw some really, really questionable looking passes. That's what he does. For as great as he is not the mechanical guy that Justin Herbert is, that a Tom Brady is. His mechanics really go to crap when he starts, getting flustered. So I think the Chargers really have the same game plan in place. I think they'll be fine on defense. But I think that the run game has to be solidified. Stopping the run, you got to really do that. You have to stop the run. And you're going to see some creative stuff from Andy Reid. That's what he does. But I think the Chargers will be fine defensively, especially with J.C. Jackson if he plays. I think they'll be fine. So I'm not looking for the Chiefs to really come out and do a whole lot offensively. I'm not looking for them to score 40. I think maybe they put up 24, 20, maybe 28 points or something like that. But that's still within the range for the Chargers to actually win the game. So defensively, I think they will be fine. Now, offensively, we know that the Chiefs are going to blitz. That's what they do. That's what Steve Spagnuolo has done his entire career. He is going to blitz. Now, I think he might not be as aggressive now with his first round cornerback. With that injury. They also have a few injuries at linebacker as well too. I think the linebacker Gay he's nicked up a little bit as well too, so he might not be as aggressive, but they are going to blitz. They blitz more than most teams in the league. I think they're like top 5 in blitzing. So they're going to try to blitz. They're going to try to bring pressure and get in the face of Justin Herbert. Now the Chargers offensive line showed in week 1 that they can really handle blitzing. They can handle some stunts. They did really well against the Raiders. And I expect the offensive line to do well again. But I think the offensive game plan, this is a Joe Lombardi redemption game. He can redeem himself just by putting players in the right position. Keenan Allen is not going to play, so Josh Palmer is going to be in the game. Put these guys in the right position. If he puts them in the right position, then things will be fine. You can expect a lot of one-on-one. You can expect a lot of single high safety. The Chargers, wide receivers, tight ends, they're going to have their opportunities to make plays. They're going to have a lot of opportunities. They're going to blitz. They're going to bring it. I don't see them sitting in two-man shell like the Chargers are going to do because Justin Herbert has no problem playing boring quarterback. He can nickel and dime you to death. So I think they're going to try to bring pressure. They're going to try to, maybe create some turnovers, manufacture some turnovers. So the opportunities will be there. Mike Williams, the opportunity for him down the field is going to be there. Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, it's all going to be there. So I think the Chargers really have to, execute, and especially in these one-on-ones, because it's going to be there. Now, as far as the run game is concerned, I would like to see the Chargers run the ball better. They're going to have opportunity. The Kansas City defensive front is a little smaller, and they just don't have what they had in previous years because of the salary cap, constrictions and all of that stuff. So the Chargers can run the ball, and I would like to see them run the ball a lot better than they did in week 1. I think they only ran for like 80 yards in week 1. They can do that in a half on Thursday. So I'm looking for them to be a lot better in the run game. I also think some of the play calls that Joe Lombardi had in week 1, I think those translate a little better in week 2 because of the blitzing. I think they're going to bring a lot of people. I think the short game might work. Especially on, your 2nd and 7s, your 3rd and 6s and stuff like that. The short game will work a lot better against the Chiefs because they are going to bring more pressure. So it's pretty much just throw it where they ain't. And Justin Herbert, he obviously knows what he's doing. So I think that short game is really going to work. And I would also like to see a little more screens because they're going to bring pressure. You're going to have your ends, Frank Clark, George Karlaftis, they're going to be bringing pressure from their end positions. And I would like to see the Chargers get out, put Austin Eckler in a position to, catch the ball, get some yak yards, run after catch. I would like to see a lot of that. So hopefully they do it, and hopefully they are focused in their game planning, and hopefully Joe Lombardi does not screw anything up. And hopefully, if the Chargers do get a lead, hopefully he is coaching to win and not coaching to just lose, because that ain't gonna work against Kansas City. It was okay against the Raiders, it was okay against Derek Carr, but Patrick Mahomes is a different animal. So the Chargers must be focused. They got to get the job done on offense. They got everything that they need to do it. They just need to execute, and they just need to put a solid game plan together, and they'll be good. They'll be fine there. This game will be won in the trenches. I said that about the Raider game, and I'm saying that about this game. This is going to be won in the trenches up front, both ends, offensive line, defensive line, and in this game, I think the Chargers have the advantage on both ends. I think they have the advantage on the offensive line. I think they have the advantage on the defensive line. It's going to be one up front. And the Chargers are not physical, then things can really get out of hand, I think, as far as the Chiefs when they start getting rolling with their offense. But if they're physical up front, especially on defense, if they come up hitting, if they get a lot of quarterback hits, if they're really chasing Mahomes off of his mark, right, making him roll out, particularly to the left side. If you make him roll out to the left side, he will make a mistake. He'll throw some stuff across his body. He will take chances, and he will throw you the ball, especially if you make him roll out left. So I would like to see the Chargers do a lot more of that. Now, he can run, and he will run, so they need to be aware of that. They need to be cognizant of that. He will run for some first downs, especially if, Brandon Staley wants to go man and guys start turning their backs, in the trail position. He will run and get a lot of first downs, and, he could run and get some touchdowns as well, too. So that's something that they need to plan for as well. But overall, I think the Chargers will be okay. A lot has been said, and, a lot of talk about the 44 points and all of that stuff, and it's all nice, but I just don't think that translates. They're not going to be able to use that same game plan against the Chargers, because the Chargers are not going to go for that. They're going to pass off a lot of, the intermediate stuff, and, they're going to really go after and defend balls down the field. So I just don't think it's going to work. That same game plan against the Cardinals is not going to work. So I'm not really worried about this game in particular. I do think the Chargers win. I think they win. I say 34-28. I think the Chargers win by a touchdown or so. That's what I think that they do. I think they're going to put up points, and I think it's going to be hard for Kansas City to stop the Chargers once they get rolling. By way of turnover or anything else crazy happening, they're going to have a hard time stopping Herbert in this offense. You have a lot of running backs that you can throw out there, and guys are really going to just, be playing physical, because this team is loaded on offense, and I think they're going to get the job done defensively. I think they're going to get pressure, and I think they're going to get enough pressure to stop Mahomes a few times, make them punt, maybe get a few turnovers. So that's why I think the Chargers are have the advantage in this game. It's just there's a lot of talk and a lot of hype about this, but when you really break it down, and you only have one game to go off of, week 1, so that's the only game that we have to go off of. But if you're going off of that, you're just making educated guesses. The Chargers they have the advantage in a lot of categories. So when you just look at certain groups on the field, they have the advantage in a lot of categories. The receivers that the Chiefs have are still fairly new, so when things get tight, how are they going to respond? We don't know. We don't know how Juju Smith-Schuster, Valdez-Scantling, we don't know how these guys are going to respond. They also have a couple of rookies that they're playing on offense as well, too. I think a rookie receiver, Sky Moore, the running back, Isaiah Pacheco. Like, these are younger dudes, and they don't have a lot of reps yet. So, these guys, maybe they make a mistake. Maybe they're mistake prone. Maybe they give up a sack. Maybe they miss a block, whatever. Like, there's a lot of different factors that can affect this game and can affect the outcome of this game. So I'm really looking at, the small things. If Kansas City is really not buttoned up and they don't take care of business and they get a little sloppy, it can really open the door, and the Chargers can really come in and take control. But like I said, I think the Chargers are fine. I see a lot of worry there's some Charger fans who are a lot, I've seen some stuff about Mahomes and all of this stuff, and he's a great player. He's a great player. You can't deny it. But I don't know, man. It's just everything else that the Chargers have around them. On top of Justin Herbert being just as great as Mahomes is, in my eyes, the Chargers have an advantage. But that's just my prediction. 34-28, Chargers get it done. They go into a mini bye with some momentum, and they'll get the Jaguars in Week 3 at home. So this is a big game. I think if the Chargers can get through this, they will be fine, and they will really set themselves up to really take control of the AFC West very early in the season. So I like the Chargers' chances, but that's just my breakdown here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think the score is going to be. Let me know where you agree, disagree, all that stuff as well too. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'll have much more content coming out every single day. I'm gonna do a live stream after the game on Thursday as well too. So definitely be checking that out. And don't forget to hit the like button on your way out as well too. But thank you guys so much for all the support, and until next time.